Well, after a night of technical difficulties, we are back on to try to finish the show here. Hopefully, no internet outages. Yeah. So
This is
sorry
our
about leaving
special
you,
after hours broadcast.
man. Sorry about leaving you high and dry there, Harrison. That was
That's right. I
ridiculous.
finished off trivia. You didn't get any of the questions right. So apparently
I
my
got
trivia
the
was killer tonight.
I got the first one right. I got the Killabrew one, and you asked if I was cheating,
Fair enough.
but I wasn't. All right. We'll start with the rounding third question that I put out this week about Mike Trout. Is Mike Trout getting traded in this offseason? And if so, Adonde, where?
My gut says no. My gut says no, he doesn't get traded because who's going to take on that contract knowing he's got that chronic back thing and he's got his injury history. So my gut says no, he doesn't get traded. But if he were to get traded, I think ideally for a guy like him from New Jersey, he's going to want to end up in a market like Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Baltimore. He's going to want to end up somewhere in that Jersey area, I would think, to finish off his career. So I'm going to say
He's
no, he doesn't get traded, but if he does, he's going to want to be on the kind of the East Coast, northern side of the East Coast.
Yeah, he is a massive Philly fan, massive Eagles fan. Like you said, being from Jersey. If he is traded, I think it's to the Phillies. I don't know if he's got a no trade clause or not.
He must. In a contract that size, he's got to have one.
I would imagine. So I actually put out, will Mike Trout and Pete Alonso be traded in the offseason? Because Pete Alonso was thrown out there too. So Joshua Rodriguez says Trout, yes, Alonso, no. Left it at that.
Interesting. Okay.
Doug said, Doug's a regular for us. He says, I think Trout finally tries to win a ring and asks for a trade to a contender. I don't think Alonso goes anywhere, but a team needing a righty power bat as a DH could entice the right package of prospects.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. Mets are in full rebuild mode. I think their view is if they keep Alonso, cool. If they deal him, cool.
Yeah, and I think if Steve Cohen has shown us anything, is that he's going to get stuff done. So yeah. I feel like Trout doesn't get traded. I feel like Alonso does get traded because I think when Cohen says we're going rebuild mode, they're going to go rebuild mode, and he's gonna. I don't think he's afraid to get pennies on the dollar back for Alonso. Let him go.
Yeah,
and I think there's a market for that guy. I think there's a market for a guy like Alonso, who has been relatively durable in his career. Hits a lot of bombs. He's a serviceable first baseman, and there's a lot of teams I think that would like to pop him into their lineup. So I think Trout's too hard to move. I don't think Alonso is though. I think Alonso could go somewhere.
I kind of agree with that. We also had a viewer or someone that's following our page. His name's Rob. He said Mike Trout maybe to the Yankees. I mean, surprise, surprise, another washed up like older power hitter. And he's saying Stanton will go to the Angels and Trout to the Yankees. So it'd be almost like a swap.
A swap of injury-riddled guys.
Yeah. And I was like, he says Alonso will stay put or the Dodgers. I don't know if the Angels make that trade. If they do make that trade, it's not for Giancarlo Stanton.
No.
It's definitely not for Giancarlo
It's
Stanton.
A package of they're not going to want to take a big contract back.
Yeah. No. If you're getting rid of Mike Trout, you want prospects, and that's it. But I think the number one team is what you said. I think it's Philly. If he gets dealt, he goes to Philly. He's self-proclaimed from there. The Eagles are his team. Everything about Philly is Mike Trout. So I think he goes there.
Yep, he's a New Jersey boy through and through. He's going to want to be up in the kind of the northeastern area. Philly'd be great. That's like going home. The irony of it is, Mike Trout still only 32 years old. That's the amazing part. He's been around for a long time.
It's crazy. Moving on to teams that have clinched playoff spots. Braves have clinched a first round bye. I mean, naturally.
Yeah.
Dodgers, the Orioles had an epic celebration the other night when they clinched, well deservedly. I mean, they weren't even expected to finish near the top, and they exceeded everyone's expectations. I can't wait to wear my Orioles gear during this playoff run. I am all in on them. I am all in on the Diamondbacks if they get there. I'm all in to see those two go and go far, hopefully.
Yep, I'm with you.
And then the Rays clinched. So, yep, those are your 4 that have clinched so far. The Twins' magic number is down to 5, depending on what happens tonight.
Yep.
But the Twins are going to win the Central. It's not.
Yeah,
no one's close.
They're up by 7.5 games. The number's down to 4. But what was kind of cool about Baltimore and Tampa is that they both clinched their playoff spots together in the 9th inning of a game they're playing against each other because Texas had lost.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're like both celebrating, and it's cool.
It was weird. It was weird to have 2 teams playing against each other clinch in the final inning of the game they're playing. And Baltimore for a day had given up first place. They've since gone back up 2 games on Tampa, but that's been a bit of a neck and neck battle there.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna go on to our weekly Angel Hernandez hating here. If you have not seen his report card for Thursday, September 14th, 2023, this thing is the poorest excuse for a called game I have ever seen in my life. If I see this guy in the playoffs, I'm going to scream. This is unreal. Called strike accuracy. You ready for this number? Called strike accuracy.
Hit me with it.
65%. 12 out of 34 called strikes were true balls. What?
I don't know how MLB continues to let that guy go on the field. I don't get it.
True balls, which means it's at least an inch out of the strike zone.
Yeah, clearly
out of the strike zone. Didn't clip it, didn't nothing.
I wonder what Brian Hayes would have had to say to him.
That's out of control. Something needs to be done. You are supposedly the best of the best in this country when it comes to baseball umpiring. Well, that's atrocious.
And I feel like he gets worse. I feel like Angel Hernandez and CB Buckner, they get worse every year. There's no improvement. They're not getting better. They're just getting worse. And it's becoming more and more embarrassing to have those guys on the field.
I don't understand it. How can you not do something about it? Be like, dude, you're not going behind the plate again this year. You're done.
Well, and that's the thing. Maybe you can't fire Angel Hernandez, but you can at least say you're not going to go behind the plate anymore.
Yeah,
you can rotate between first, second, and third, but you're not going behind the plate anymore.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
You can't no batter and no pitcher wants to go out there with Angel Hernandez behind the plate because
it's a guess every time he's pitching.
Yeah, you don't know what the strike zone is, and as a pitcher or a hitter, that's really frustrating to not know what to expect. It's hard to prepare when you don't know what to expect.
It's unreal. So
it's embarrassing. It's the point.
How long do you think it takes before the ABS comes in?
Oh, it'll be years. They'll be fighting this one for years.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I think it'll be years because the umpires will fight this to the death. Because what it's going to do is it's going to expose their problems, and it's going to now put a mechanism in place to overrule them, which will, in theory, strip some of their authority, which is what so many of these guys get off on, is having that power and authority to tell these big leaguers, what's what.
I'm surprised that they hadn't had an issue with the K zone, TVs putting up the K zone, because honestly, that's where all of this has started. It's stemmed from, you could tell if it was a bad call, but before the K zone went up, no one was talking about the umpires like they talk about them now.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, when the K zone first came out, I believe there was a bunch of noise about it. They didn't like it.
There probably could have been.
And then it was eventually one of those things where it's we can't change it. So I think they've learned to live with it. But I do think the ABS is necessary. I do think they'll fight it to the death because they are not going to want to lose they're not going to want to be exposed for the issues they have. And these guys are not going to want to be overruled on the field.
No.
But they need it. Because sometimes you just screw up and miss one, and it's okay.
Yeah. All right. So before my internet rudely disconnected, Harrison was asking a trivia question about the 30-30 club. So obviously we know J-Rod joins the 30-30 club this year.
Yep.
He joins Ronald Acuna Jr., Mike Trout, and Alex Rodriguez to do it 22 years or younger.
Crazy.
Right? It's insane.
Mike Trout did when he was 20. That blows me away.
Yeah. I mean, we thought he possibly had a shot at it last year. He hit 25 last year, right? I think he stole over 30 bases. But
yeah,
I mean, J-Rod is, like we were talking with Anthony earlier, he's definitely a franchise player.
Yes.
If he keeps improving like this year after year, he's up there with the discussion with Shohei, Acuna, Freeman, for guys that you want to build a team around.
Yeah, what's impressive too with J-Rod is that he got off to a really kind of slow start this year. That dragged on for a little while, and then he's really come on strong, and really that whole team turned around when he really picked it up.
Yeah, I think going 20 for 20 does that for you.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
yeah, I feel like that guy didn't get out for like 2 weeks.
That stretch was unreal.
Bananas to hit at that level. What was it? I mean, the number that was 17 hits in that one weekend, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, crazy. He ended last year with 28 and 25.
Yeah, so he's close.
So he was 25 last year. But he is 30 right now. 30 home runs, 36 stolen bases.
Yep.
Crazy. Jason Dominguez out with he's undergoing Tommy John. So it is official that it was a torn UCL. He's under the knife. So
there's something wrong with the New York Yankees. The amount of injuries and the weirdness of the injuries. This is a position player getting Tommy John surgery like 2 weeks after he shows up.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get how you have these guys dropping with these kinds of injuries in that organization. There should be somebody looking around going, this doesn't seem right, that everybody's getting hurt with these weird like muscle ligament issues. Like, what's going on here? What are we doing wrong?
Yeah, the Yankees organization needs a complete gut.
Oh,
I'm talking
blow it up.
Cashman all the way down, out and restart, because I don't know what they're putting out on the field. I mean, you keep Aaron Judge, obviously, because he's Aaron Judge, but and you keep Volpe. I think Volpe's going to be great for them.
He will be.
You keep those two and get rid of everyone else.
Yeah.
Who wants them? I'll pay you to take them, please.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you keep Garrett Cole.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
But like, would you keep Rodon? I don't know. You barely saw the guy this year.
Yeah, with his injury history, I don't know.
I just that team is it literally, it's riddled with all these used to be's, has-beens, and still wannabes. But there's nobody on that team other than Judge that is going to go out there every night and actually give you anything.
No, I agree. So this is kind of a cool story for the Orioles. John Means is finally back for them. He's had 2 okay starts coming back. We weren't sure exactly what we were going to get out of John Means, but in 2 starts, he's gone 5 innings, both starts. He's given up 3 runs. 4 earned runs. He's given up 2 long balls, 3 walks. But, I mean, these are his first 2 starts back.
Yeah.
I mean, to have an extra arm like that, maybe not in the starting rotation during the playoffs. Maybe they use him as like long relief or, first guy out of the bullpen or whatever. I think this is a huge pickup for the Orioles coming down the stretch of this playoff run. Especially losing Felix Bautista. You get another top arm back.
Yep.
I think this is good for the Orioles, but I'm glad that he's back, because he was, Cy Young form. Like he had a great season before he had that no hitter.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a perfect game, but wasn't it like a drop third strike or something.
There was something
like
weird.
that.
Yeah,
Like,
something weird
was
that messed
weird.
it up.
Yeah, I think it was a pass ball by the catcher that went to the backstop and the runner got on first. So he got 28 outs,
Oh,
but
Yep.
it wasn't a perfect game.
yeah. If only Adley Rushman was there.
Well, a couple of years too late or too early. But I don't know.
Well, and
so
then-
yeah, I just think that's a big arm for the Orioles to pick up.
Well, and he was such a fan favorite, and he was, one of those guys who could be like a face of the franchise kind of guy. And it feels like he's been gone for so long,
Yeah.
so long.
I mean,
But-
he was 6-9 in 2021, so that tells me I don't think he had 146 innings pitched.
So he probably pitched half the
So-
season in 21. So he missed half of 21, all of 22, and half of 20, most of 23. So yeah, he's been.
I would say he almost pitched all of 21. Pitchers aren't throwing much more than 150 now.
No, that's true. So he's missed. Yeah, he's coming up on.
So he's missed a full year, almost 2 full years.
almost 2 full years. So yeah, so he has been gone that long.
Yeah.
But then in the meantime, you got the Orioles call up yet another prospect, Heston Kjerstad, who hit a home run the other night. They just continue to pull these young players out of the minor leagues that deliver. They just show up and deliver.
That's absolutely insane.
Whoever's doing their scouting and player development should be getting some kind of recognition around the league for it. Everybody should be going to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, all those draft picks are now coming to fruition. Is what's going on.
They finally figured out how to develop players, because for all those years they had all those draft picks, never turned into anything. Now they're all finally turning into something.
Yeah. And then the last thing I have to wrap up this crazy night we just had.
This is rounding third after hours.
Right. Is Adam Wainwright finally gets win 200 after throwing, I don't know, it was like a bajillion pitches against the Brewers, and they won 1-0, I think. They wanted to make sure that Wainwright got win number 200 there. But I mean, good for him. Is Wainwright a Hall of Famer to you?
No. Wainwright was a good pitcher of his time. Never won 20 games. Won 19 twice.
He won
Career
20.
record.
He won 20 in 2014.
Oh, sorry, that's right. He did win it in 20. My bad. Won 19 twice, 21 time. Career record of 200 and 128, 3.53 ERA. Not a huge strikeout guy. I mean, I think he was a good pitcher, but Wainwright. I mean, we've watched pretty much his entire career. He's started in 2005, and I think he's a good pitcher. But was he ever like the guy that you were afraid to face? Was he ever the most dominant guy in the league? Maybe for short stretches, but he's not a guy that I think teams were like, oh my goodness, I want to face Wainwright.
Right. 4 top 5 Cy Young Award votes. I mean, the highest he got was second.
Yeah, he did win the Silver Slugger, to his credit.
Yeah, well, good for him. He's not going to win one this year.
No, he's not.
But so on the backside of this, the Cardinals announced on the last day of the season, their last home game, Adam Wainwright's playing a concert after the game on the field.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Kickstart his country career. I guess he's a pretty good singer. I've never heard him, but that's the
rumor
word on the street.
The rumor is he's a very talented musician.
So Cardinals are, sending him out there after the last game, and he's playing a concert. So
yeah, he's going to play 3 songs from his upcoming album. I guess he's got an album coming out.
Cool. Just like Joe Country West, baby. Send those country albums out. Pretty awesome.
But no, I think Wainwright, good pitcher for his era, great, good team guy. But when I think back on his career, I kind of go, yeah, he was a good pitcher, but not a game changing.
Yeah, he's not your
dominator.
Scherzer, your Verlander,
you weren't afraid to face him. He wasn't
Right.
like one of those super dominant guys. He was just out there and pitched well.
I mean, he could be probably top 10, top 15 pitchers during that stretch, I would say. I can think of like I said, Kershaw, Verlander, Scherzer, I mean, I think I would put Wainwright somewhere in that category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
It depends on what
not
kind of
quite at
generation
Hall
you
of Fame.
mix him in with, because he also overlapped with Pedro and Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling and
Yeah,
all the other
I
guys.
would say the bulk of his career is after those guys. So
Yeah,
like
okay.
I wouldn't really loop him in there, but I mean Mark Burley, pitchers like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
put him
he
in
was probably, probably a top 15 guy for most of his
there.
career.
He's a Cardinals Hall of Famer. He played his whole career in St. Louis.
Yeah.
He's going to be a Cardinals Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think St. Louis will honor him.
Yep. 1,000%.
So I mean, he was part of that 06 team that won the World Series, a big part of it.
Yep.
I mean, I say a big part. He wasn't that big a part of it because he was still kind of a bullpen guy. Like he was not.
Yeah.
He was transitioning between being a starter and a bullpen guy. Then he was a starter in 2007, but
yep.
But he was a big reason why that team was competitive for so many years. I mean, he was really good from, call it kind of 2009 once he settled in. Oh, I'm sorry, he won 20 twice in 10 and 14. But from 2009 to 2014, he was, probably one of the top 5 or 10 guys in the league. Other years he was kind of, it was okay.
Yeah.
So I think for 5 years he was really, really, really good, and outside of that, he was a better than average guy.
I would agree. So yeah. All right. So finally, that's all I had after an absolute crazy technical night. My God, absolutely technology failed tonight. So sorry about the people that were watching and we got severed off and then back on. We got it all straightened out. But do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to say again, I think, Anthony, good guy on the main baseball scene. Definitely follow him, Triple Crown Maine on Instagram. Check out the Triple Crown Academy. Guy that knows a lot about hitting, really passionate working with the kids. Great resource. I wish there was somebody like that around when I was a kid that I could go and get hitting lessons from. But either way, support him. He's a good guy, good local guy.
Yep. We'll put all his info out on our page too. But you guys can just call or message and book appointments. And you will not be disappointed with what he produces.
Would it be weird if I booked an appointment to watch him hit?
I don't know. But
so just asking for a friend.
Yeah. But thanks, Larry. Very good show. Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, we will be back on next Monday at 8 p.m. Hopefully with no internet outages next time. I promise it. Well, I can't promise, but I hope it will be a lot smoother. It usually is.
Yeah, promise nothing.
Tonight was a little choppy. It was like we haven't been doing this for 2 years or something, but yeah, crazy. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Please follow, like, subscribe on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see you next Monday at 8 p.m.